Hey everyone, welcome to the UVD Weekly Wrap-Up, the show where the team from UrbanVinylDaily.com goes over everything there is to know in the designer toy, art, street art, and Sofubi world. I'm your host, Travis Likens.
And I'm Ben Pierce.
And we're here for episode 13, which currently
Baker's Dozen.
is unnamed.
Or we could call this week 2 of the shell game, where we keep moving our studios around so you don't exactly know where we're going to be.
Yes, so today we are actually located in the UVD headquarters.
One of the two.
One of the two. So we're in my office, which has been discombobulated completely, and now has been made into our studio. So,
and if we had a producer, he could spin the camera around and you could see everything we're looking at right now.
Yep, but we're still too poor to have one of those, so we're just here in my office recording. So this is week 2 of the shell game has been mentioned. So, well, you'll have to deal with it. Hopefully this one's a little better than last week. We want to apologize for all the audio issues, but I think in this studio we'll have a better chance of recording in a better way. So that should be pretty good there as well. So, but I guess let's roll right into some news here. I'll let Ben kick it off though.
Okay. First off, we have is a piece that we kind of highlighted last week as part of the STGCC happening and occurring. So the first glimpse that we've seen so far is the Twisted Barth that we mentioned last week is going to be debuting September 10th through 11th at STGCC, made by artist Cote Escrive, and it's the patent black figure we can see on the picture right here. And the way the booth was labeled for us, it's AA 830, 85. So whether that's like coordinates on a map, I don't know. I haven't seen a map of STGCC, but
if you're
that's
there,
what you need for your treasure map right there.
If you're there, you want to check it out because it's a really cool figure. Next up though, we have some information coming out of New York City. Actually, over the weekend, there was a show that featured a bunch of kaiju and Sofubi type stuff, and it was called Black Drove. And currently, they still have some remaining pieces, and those are online now. So if you missed out on the show, didn't get to participate and buy some of the awesome pieces, there are some still remaining. So if you just follow the link here at the bottom of the screen or search Black Drove on the UVD website, you will find the link to pick up many of these toys. A lot of good stuff from people like Scott Kennebrew and many other people. So a lot of good stuff hanging out on the site still.
All right. The other piece of news I have for our third piece of toy news, and I think 3rd out of 4, is that we were given preview images, not a whole lot of details, but preview images of the pink glow-in-the-dark swirl Calliope Jackalope, which is the 10th anniversary Tamanosuke edition, and will be at Stranger Factory. And we were told to await more details, and that means you will too.
Yeah, they weren't a whole lot forthcoming, but they did give away the photo, and the photo looks really cool, as you can see on the screen. A lot of really good stuff comes out of Tamanosuke and the Stranger Factory Circus Posters team up. They do a lot of good work on the the characters designed by a lot of people like Brant Peters and such. So if you're a fan of soft vinyl, but not the like creepy like monstery kind, theirs are usually the creepy cute kind. So
yeah, this one looks like it's going to stab you in the back with its hands behind its back.
Yeah, but, creepy cute.
But feed it, take care of it, and treat it better than your Tamagotchi.
And it won't eat you like a Furby.
Yeah, Furbies. They hide in the closet and then their batteries die and they're creepy.
They still talk to you even after your batteries die.
Help. Help.
So, but yeah, make sure to keep an eye on the blog. Maybe once we get some more details, we'll share it. Or if it makes it until the wrap up again, maybe we'll talk about it again. So next up, though, we have some information coming from Toy Art Gallery and Paul Kaiju. They're releasing the next edition of the Slugbeard, which is his roughly 13-inch tall figure that has kind of like a tentacle for an arm and a ball and a chain hanging down. And it's just really cool. And this colorway looks like it features a ton of sprays. Like I'm talking like over 5. So if you're a soft vinyl person like Paul Kaiju, then I'm sure this is going to be right up your alley. No details on the release just yet. Looks like they're holding back on the info, but they did release this awesome photo showing the colorway off. So I do personally have the purple edition that was released a year or 2 ago, and I really enjoy the figure. It's a really good piece to add to your collection. So if you're looking to get that, I'm sure it'll be a lottery sale, and good luck to everybody trying to get a lottery piece.
I guess I lied. I get to wrap us out on the toys, but something that we know nothing about.
Oh, this is great. This is great news. You know nothing about it.
Showed up at a gallery event that involved art, but this was a Crayola and Silent Stage.
Yeah, Silent
Stage made a prototype, I assume, of what they may be making as a future figure. I hope it'd be a shame if that was just a one-off piece that never sees the light of day for toys. But we can only hope that something similar to what we've seen some Skinner, where it's super intricate, super detailed, becomes a toy, vinyl or resin, and goes onto a lot of shelves.
From what I understand, they actually did give a little more info than that. I caught a little bit because I guess it was like a reveal of it, and they talked about it being done in small resin editions, and it's going to be approximately $2,500 each.
Darn.
But if you're a fan of like the Uzi Does It that Silent Stage did, or even the Panda Kings from Woes, you know that they're high quality and they're art multiples, even though they're not marketing them as a toy. They're an art multiple. So
just imagine putting Crayola's detail and imagination into a figure.
Yeah. And really though, this one too, like it captures his painting, like his painting style, which is kind of really hard to do in the third dimension. So they did a really amazing job on that piece, and we look forward to seeing the future editions. And I'm really hoping that maybe when I go to DesignerCon, I'll actually get to see one in person. Maybe they'll bring one that I can see.
Hopefully.
And then maybe we can bring you more info on it once we, get to see it in person. So, but that wraps up the art or the toy news there. So we're going to roll right on into art news. And I don't think we have a pin this week.
No pins.
So there's
or we just kind of ignored them.
Or maybe that.
not on purpose. I don't think I saw any pins this week.
Yep. Nothing that caught our eye anyway. So let's see, what do we got first here, Ben? Tom Whalen?
Art, I think we have a Tom Whalen and Matt Ferguson. Judge Dredd was showed off from Vice Press, where I assume, since this is an overseas event, that it's in Nice in France, not as compared to Nice, which is the way it's spelled, 2016. So I think it's in Nice, France. It's their convention. And so Tom Whalen's is an 18 by 24 print, where it's a regular and a variant. Edition 100 of the regular and 40 of the variant. And Matt Ferguson's is 100, but they didn't really tell us a size. But for the fact that it was 10 pounds, Great British pounds, I would assume it's a fairly small print, kind of like a hand flyer or something.
Yeah. Sounds like it's going to be a really cool event. So if you're near the area, definitely head out and check it out. Next up, we have something from Spoke Art Gallery. The show Suggestive Resonance. Sorry, I was reading really small print on my phone here. Suggestive Revenants. The show flyer was was recently shown off, and this group show will open on September 1st, and it runs through the 24th of September. It includes people like Alex Pardee, Crayola, and Skinner, and it also includes many more. So if you're a fan of like what I'm assuming is dark and kind of creepy art from this show, if that's the three artists they're showcasing there, it's going to be a pretty awesome show. Spoke Art is in, where's it at? San Francisco. For some reason I was thinking it was Oregon, but that must have been something else. But yes, San Francisco, Spoke Art Gallery, 1st of September.
Which is tomorrow, which may be today for this video going up.
Yeah, will be today. So
next up, I came across something that we teased on the blog earlier with a kind of a rough hint a couple weeks ago, but it finally became a little bit more solid, that Tom Whalen and Dave Perillo are again teaming up in their everlasting brothership that they have of always being together. And this one is the Super Science Fair, again at Spoke Art Gallery, which this will be in November, so we still have a ways off, but the image that they posted has a little bit of Jurassic Park, a little bit of Back to the Future, and a little bit of else that's science fiction or science fair related.
Or science fair related.
Little volcanoes with baking soda.
Lots of fun. Reminds me of my childhood.
Never got to do this.
You never did that?
No.
You never made like a little volcano out of clay or something, and then
I did
put some stuff in it?
The film canisters, which had the vinegar and the Alka-Seltzer or something.
I did that too, and then you put like clay around it and you made a volcano.
Well, I guess we could have done that, but
your school didn't have enough money to give you clay. That's what it was.
Probably. They were cheap.
So next up, though, we have announcement of the latest addition to the ever-growing convention scene for things involving designer toys, but also, art, plush, other crafty type items that can be included as well. But it is CurioCon 2017, which is going to take place May 13th and 14th of 2017. So no back in time for you guys at the Pasadena Convention Center. And then looks like it's going to be a fun show. Looks like it's in a similar vein to Designer Con, which is kind of interesting since it's in the same location. But I'm excited to see what they do with it. I hear that there's a decent amount of people already signing up for booths, so hopefully we'll get a update on who's going to be there. In the coming months. Maybe some folks want to join in. But if you are looking to be a vendor, it is curiocon.com. And you can look there for the information on the booth. I believe I saw they have an early bird special through October. Don't quote me on that piece, but it is I believe it was $400, and then it goes up to $500 after the early bird special date. So if you're looking to be a vendor and you happen to be in Pasadena or you want to travel out, that's probably a pretty good place to get going. Should be a pretty good first year con. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. So if you want to support, check it out.
Did you do back to back and tell us about what's happening at Stranger Factory?
Yeah, I can do that. So coming up this week at Stranger Factory, Chris Reiniak and Amanda Louise Spade will have a show called Harvest Moon. Not confused with the video game.
Or the Blue Moon beer.
And it's opening on September 2nd with an opening reception. I'm sure this show's going to be filled with lots of cute, creepy little creatures. So if you're a fan of the team there, you'll want to head over to Stranger Factory and sign up for their preview list. So you'll make sure to get the items that are going to be available at the show. Or if you're in the area, you'll want to check it out. I mean, it's going to be a great show. So it's a great place to check out.
The reason I let Travis go back to back is I'm about to do a little bit of storytelling and talking. I know. Boring old voice. But the last thing we have is that, as we've covered multiple times on the blog and on here, Scribe is releasing a book for the kids.
For the kids. So
a good old storybook.
$10 on Amazon, people. Not even $10.
That's soon to be ending the pre-order, and then you can just buy as many as you want, which we'll get back to buying in a little bit. So in the latest installment of news that involves this is that his wife, Alyssa, also known as 40 Threads, has been working on swag bags for 10 special people, assuming the first 10 people that either show up or buy, or she may choose whoever she likes best, whatever it may be. But in these swag bags, it looks like there's like coloring pages, there's stuff that she's sewn like plush, there's little hand-drawn stuff, and stuff that's kind of knick-knacky to thank you for coming out. But the release of this book for the people of Kansas City also happens to fall on the 20th anniversary of Scribe first drawing Rumpus, like in spray paint in public.
Wow. That's a very good coincidence.
Yeah. And so we'll probably hear a little bit more from Scribe if we can actually get him on the phone next week, which we promise. And so it took about 2 years for this to happen from him. And so it's been a little bit light on the details up to this point, but I finally was able to get a little bit out of him as far as the premise of the book for those who are a little bit uncertain about what this book was about. It could be Midwest or Old West or whatever, but the premise that I got out of him is the main characters are Rumpus, the rhino, Ty, the tiger, and Phils and Phlox, the twins, unknown animal species at this moment. And they're all 12 years old. In an effort to do their first mural, they struggle with working together and end up looking like 3 different murals. The grandfather of one of them gives them special paint to use on the mural, which creates a portal into their painting, and they have to learn how to work together to get back out. Premise of the book.
There you go.
So back to buying.
That's an exclusive.
Exclusive. No one else knows that except for Scribe.
And now you.
So back to buying. $10. Say you've already ordered one, and you want to figure out how to buy another one.
You go back to Amazon and do what you did the last time, but do it again.
Except do it again. Or if you wish to donate to the hospital that he works at, he gave instructions on how to do that, like the address, and you can give it as a gift. Or if you buy a bundle of them and give them to your local places, whatever. But that is an idea that's been floating around, is that children who are in these children's hospitals often like to have books.
Yeah. It's a great idea for supporting kids and making their stay at a hospital, which could be rather intimidating for a child, I'm sure. Making it a little easier with some fun, with some characters and a book to read. So, if you're looking to give to a good cause, get one of the books for a kid. It's for the kids, people.
$10.
Yeah, don't go to Starbucks twice this week.
Play the world's smallest violin that you can't afford. You can afford if you can go to Starbucks, you can afford this book.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, if you can afford Starbucks and Netflix, you can go this. You can get a book for a kid.
Even Chipotle,
and it'll probably mean more to a kid than your cup of coffee for the day. So
you end up throwing half away because you forget about it.
Yeah. Ooh, that's awful when you do that. The worst thing in the world is like I take a thermos of coffee to work. Like the worst thing in the world is if you pick it up at the end of the day and there's still coffee in it. You're like, oh man.
There's always coffee in mine because it's French press. So there's that sponge grounds on the bottom that always gets through.
Okay, Mr. Hipster, with your beard and your vinyl records.
I can't help it.
So, but that's kind of it for this week. We wanted to keep it short with this rotating studio thing. It's been kind of a challenge for us to get set up and torn down and whatnot. We had to, like I said, totally rearrange the office now that is unusable as an office. So, but we wanted to make sure that we brought you the news and what was going on in the scene. We just wanted to keep it as quick as we could. If you want to keep up with us, though, you can always follow us on urbanvinyldaily.com. We keep up with the more news that's going on in the designer toy world. We also are posting on Instagram and Twitter on the regular. So if you want to keep up there, make sure to follow at Urban Vinyl Daily. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/urbanvinyldaily. You can find us on Snapchat at Urban Vinyl Daily. We're all over the place these days. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to keep up the latest videos. It's youtube.com/urbanvinyldaily. And if you don't want to see our pictures and you want to listen to us because you like what's going on in the scene, but you really hate the way we look, or you really hate the way we keep moving from studio to studio, you can always check us out on Token Nerd Network on iTunes. And that'll get you the podcast version only with none of these fancy pictures or obviously this horrible view of us.
Sorry about that.
While you're there, you'll also get the two other great podcasts, one being Token Nerd, where they talk about comics, movies, news, and all kinds of stuff like that.
And pop figures and everything nerdy.
And the Real Film Geeks will take you through interesting topics like directors, animation, TV shows, movies, and more. So if you like that kind of thing and want to hear more discussion on it, that's a great thing for that. And in the future, the Token Nerd Network will be adding a very awesome podcast called 90s Kids Club, which is
that we keep threatening to make you listen to, but have not made you.
We haven't done it yet, but it is 90s kids talking about 90s crap. So if you're from the 90s and you remember lots of cool things that happened and want to have a little nostalgia nerd out, then look for us in September to launch that podcast. But
also remember, it's DTA season.
Oh, it is DTA season. So
stay off Facebook and keep your opinions to yourself.
Yeah. But there's going to be fan voted categories. They've already taken all the nominations, but there will be fan voted categories that you can go and check out. So you want to check out designertoyawards.com and make sure to vote for your favorite pieces that are in the fan voted section. And in a couple weeks or so, I think they'll be revealing the nominations for the panel voted sections as well. So you'll get to see everybody that's up for things like Best Safubi, Best Resin, Best Artist of the Year, whatever they want to call it. You'll get to see all of that in one place at designertoyawards.com. But I think that wraps it up.
In case anyone was interested,
I guess not.
Why I'm dressed differently. I was told I had to interview for this job again.
Oh,
Travis is competing this job.
Yeah, it's now out for competition. So if you happen to be in the Dayton, Ohio area or wouldn't mind driving in, we are taking nominations for new guest co-hosts. So if you want to do that, make sure to hit us up at urbanvinyldaily@gmail.com. Or if you just happen to be an artist that's traveling through, really hit us up. We will bring you on. So, but now that we've had that shameless plug for a new guest host, that really does wrap up the show. As always, I'm Travis.
And I'm Ben.
Have a great designer toy day. Hey everyone, this is Travis Likens from Token Nerd Podcast, and I'm here today to tell you something about sponsorship. That's right, Token Nerd now has a sponsor. The fine folks at TenaciousToys.com, your source for designer toys, pop vinyl, original art, and more, are now our sponsor. And guess what? As a part of that, you can get 10% off your next order at TenaciousToys.com by entering the code TOKEN10 at checkout. That's right, 10% off. And not only are they giving you this code, they're also going to be sponsoring many of our Token Nerd giveaways in the next coming months. So make sure to follow us at token_nerd on Instagram to catch our latest giveaways.